second, and we were talking, and I heard you could see the stadium from there. I just heard a right, and I looked up, and then the fireworks started shooting, and we saw that Schwarber had just hit a home run, so that was pretty cool. All right, fire away.
Jalen has shown an ability to overcome adversity throughout his football career, most notably probably when he lost his job at Alabama to Tua. What is it about his mental makeup that allows for that, and what kind of examples have you seen of that during your time together?
Yeah, just very steady in his mental makeup, right? Focusing on the next play, the next game, right? And getting better and constantly trying to get better. I think when you go through adversity, it's common to think about what's going to happen in the future, right? And that's in football, that's in life. Like you're focused on like, all right, we're going through a really hard time. What if, right? And I think the mindset that Jalen has is to be locked in right where he is in the moment and handling the things that he can control. And I think that's why you see a steadiness in him of who he is as a person and who he is as a player. And so that, I've noticed that about him from the moment I've been around him. And I think that, that's what, why has he thrived after going through a difficult time is because of who he is as a player, who he is as a person, what his work ethic is, his mindset of being locked in, his mindset of not being denied. And so there's just so many different things that speak to that. I appreciate the question because I'm able to brag on him a little bit right there of who he is as a person and as a player. We all see the plays that he makes, but he is so locked into, getting better, getting better each day and just putting his head down and working. Like he works, So, yeah, that's what I'd noticed about that.
How did the idea of Julio Jones come about, and what was your reaction when Howie first came to you and mentioned his name?
Yeah, obviously we talked through things. We're a little banged up at wide receiver, and just wanted to add some extra depth and another proven guy in there. And so Howie and I, like we always do, watch different guys together. And his name came up. We watched him together, and it was pretty obvious. We thought when he was at Tampa last year that the film was good, and we were excited about the possibility to add him. And that's no, Quez is out for a little bit, as everybody knows, but I do want to take a second to say, a guy like OZ, the toughness that he has, and how reliable he is as a player, a guy like that always has a spot on offenses that I'm going to be a part of, always. And I've been able to have great success with guys that have those two common denominators of, toughness and reliability. And so he's going to continue to give us that as we continue on right here. And no indication is that a knock on OZ. It's just where we are a little bit banged up, and then just to get a little bit more depth in there of some guys that have played good football. And obviously he's a Hall of Fame player, and so he's played good football, and we still thought the tape was good. So excited to add him to the roster.
What's your history, Coach?
I'm sorry. Just you're always looking at the explosion. Does he still have the juice in his legs and the ability to run, the ability to get out of cuts, the ability to make plays, and all those things were. We thought was still good. And like I said, that's what you do. You can look at the stats, you can do all those different things, but it's about putting the tape on and seeing what you see and what you think, and and then seeing him work out the other day, we were like, yeah, he's still got a lot of pop in his legs, and we're excited about that.
With your history coaching the position, what has always impressed you most about his game?
Yeah. First of all, the way I thought always was like, when you just see him, you're like, holy crap, this guy plays wide out, right? Like the what he looks like, right? The size and everything like that, knowing like that's going to be a long day for. I don't even remember the last time I was on a team that went against him. It might have been when he was in Atlanta in 2016. But I vividly remember seeing him on the sideline, or not on the sideline, in pregame, like, holy crap, I'm glad I'm an offensive coach today, and not the head coach, and not having to worry about the other side of the ball. Let me focus on what I got to focus on, because he looks every bit the part. And then obviously all the plays they makes. It was interesting when he was running routes the other day of. There was a route that he always, and I won't get into too much of it in case we get it into our plan, but there was a route he always used to run, and then he kind of was talking about that when he was running routes the other day with us. And it was interesting just to sit there and listen to him explain why he would do certain things on this route. I'm like, golly, I've been trying to coach this route for years. I wish I would have been able to reach out and ask you this question earlier. So, he was. It seems like he's a student of the game, and then, like I said, like with the way he comes out onto the field and the way he looks, that would be what stood out. And then also this speed that he shows on this certain route that he used to run a lot of. But at the end of the day, he's a great player, and you admire that the most, the amount of plays that he made consistently year after year.
You guys are banged up right now. How is he different from Julio Jones of like 2015, 2016?
Yeah, again, you're still coming out here, and you're going to see more and more each time you see him out on the field. Obviously he's older, right, from that time, but still has the ability to make plays. Don't make no mistake about it, though. This past game still is going to go through Devontae, AJ, and Dallas, and so I think that's a little bit of a difference, right? The role that he's playing, right? More of a supporting role than a highlight, a highlighted role. And we'll see how it continues to shape up. But we still know that he has the ability to make plays, and we're going to need him to make plays. And so we'll see how that goes as we continue on.
And you guys are a little banged up right now. We know you guys are a little bit banged up right now in the secondary, and saw you guys sign the last guy. Why did you decide to go back with him instead of somebody else?
Experience that he had. He's with some of the other changes that are happening in the secondary. We know that we've played in big games with Josiah, and he's done well in those games. Was it he had an interception last year against New Orleans. Obviously, we lost that game, but we played well on defense, and Josiah was a big part of that. And so we got confidence in him. We got confidence in the person. We got confidence in the player. And so I think a little bit of that was just his experience, in this city, his experience with this team, his experience with these guys on this team. And he was here during training camp as well. And so I think that's really that played into the bringing Josiah back.
How's Lane coming along, and how did that factor into game planning this week?
Yeah, obviously it won't get too much into game. Respectfully, I respect your question. Won't get too much into game planning or anything like that. But Lane, is doing everything he can do to be ready to play. We'll see. Obviously we haven't been out in the field and running and cutting or doing anything like that. We'll see how it progresses. He said, I'll let you ask him how he feels and everything like that. I would never count Lane Johnson out. That's for sure. He's tough. He's one of the best players in the NFL, and he's tough as heck. And so, we'll see how it goes. I don't have I know on Monday I was like, well, I'll have more for you on Wednesday. Well, and I'm pushing that back a little bit because we got to get out in the field and see.
Vic obviously helped you guys en route to the Super Bowl. You kind of let him in on the offensive side to help. How much does that affect?
We didn't give him all the secrets. I asked him for his help. He was giving us information and us not giving him information. No, he, obviously when he was around last year, during the end of the season, that was, it was just a unique opportunity to have a guy help us look at some different things, the way a defensive coach's perspective on it. And, and then Jonathan being able to bounce some things off of him. And me being able to bounce some things off him as a head coach. So I really value the relationship that I was able to develop with Coach Fangio. Great person, great football mind. We know, so we know we're going to have our hands full with any Vic Fangio coach defense, which we have obviously this week. Huge Phillies fan. I'm hoping that he's a little distracted, but really good person, really good coach. value the friendship that we have in the time that we spent together last year.
Nick, I know that you guys probably don't care as much what you wear to a game, but there's so much hype around Kelly Green, and it's so cherished by fans, and there's so much history there. Do you feel a little bit of that excitement seeping into this game?
Look good, feel good, play good, all right? And so, yeah, I think the guys are just like, just like they get excited. You think back on it. I think back when I was at Mount Union, we had white jerseys, we had purple jerseys, and we had black jerseys. Those black jerseys were focused for, big time moments, right? And you felt good when you put that on. You're like, oh, okay, this number 25 in black. I like the way that looks, right? And I think that that's natural, right? Oregon always has the great uniforms. They have all those different types of uniforms. I'll have to ask Marcus if every time they changed uniforms, did he get really excited? Obviously, we focus at the task at hand, but that's a cool thing. And I know that when those jerseys came out, right, I went immediately to the store and got my kids those jerseys, and my son doesn't take that A.J. Brown, Kelly Green jersey off too very often. And so I think it's an exciting thing for the fans. I think it's an exciting thing for us. We know that we can't get too wrapped up in that, and we'll be focused on that. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Thanks for the question.
You guys have been banged up, as you said, at various positions throughout the field. You guys live on the whole next man up philosophy. That's being tested now, obviously. What are the keys to making that work from the guys that are coming in to the guys that are out there trying to help the other ones, be ready?
Preparation. It doesn't start this week, right? It's been going on, right? And so it's not like, okay, Lane's out, and Jack, you don't have any moment to prepare. Go in, right? Well, he's been preparing his butt off, right? We do a lot where our twos get a lot of work. And I do believe that, without getting too much into that, I do believe that that's something unique that we do that was always pressed upon me as a coach, that you got to give guys opportunities. And in the NFL, sometimes, of some different places that I've been, the opportunities aren't always there because of the limited amount of reps in practice. And so we force that. We make sure we're getting those walkthrough reps, those team reps, those 7-on-7 reps, where we think that's a unique thing that we do. Now, make no mistake about it, we give them opportunity, but they got to go out and do it. And we have, that's about where it comes into Howie and his staff, and getting the right guys in here. That, because when you're a backup, you're one snap away from being a starter. And it's about how you prepare. And if you don't love the game of football, you're probably not going to prepare as much as if you're in love with football, you're going to prepare a little bit more than if you're in like with football. And so it's about getting those guys in here that love the game, that have the competitiveness, that have the competitiveness of like, yeah, I'm a starter in this league. You know what I'm saying? So it's the opportunity. Our job as coaches is to provide opportunity and get them ready for when their number is called. And then it's about having the right guys, and I trust these guys in this locker room. We talked about Josiah, we talked about Jack Driscoll, and so we have the right type of guys, and credit to Howie and his staff for bringing in the right type of guys.
We'll do two more, and the locker room is
What
open.
about Dolphins offense and offensive personnel most kind of appeal to you as an offensive mind?
Shoot, they do a great job. I got a lot of respect for Coach McDaniel and the things that he's doing. I think you're seeing a trend in the NFL of the motions that he's running, that everyone's getting, like, ooh, I like that, right? We've done it. Like there was some plays that plays we've done, and there was plays we did late at last year that we took from the Dolphins. And so I think anytime you're influencing the rest of the NFL to copy some of the things you're doing, that's pretty cool, right? And they got really outstanding players. They got great team speed. Tua's doing a really nice job of delivering the football and going the right spot with the ball, making accurate throws, and those are all things that he showed coming out of college, and he's continued to show and get better as a pro. So, when you see the players develop the way they are and the schemes that they run that you respect, you got a lot of respect for that other coach. And that's again, ton of respect for Mike and his staff. They're doing a phenomenal job, and they're also, they got really good players, which is obviously the most important thing. And so, yeah, we're gonna have a challenge because, good players, good coaching, and we're going to have to be on our stuff.
Last one. I was going to ask something similar, but as far as Tua and Jalen's history goes, do you think this game might mean a little bit more for Jalen? I know he's mentally tough and all that, but
You know, that's going to be something you're going to have to ask him. I do know that he's locked into each game. He's locked into each moment, but that doesn't mean that you don't get more up for, not that you get more up, but you get that extra, you're going, there's always those things though in this, like, hey, I'm going against a guy that played the same position as me in college at the college, or hey, I'm going back to my hometown, or I'm going here. You can let those things motivate and everything like that, but there still has to be this laser focus on the task at hand and not let outside things get in the way of your preparation. And if that helps you prepare a little bit more, then use it. If it distracts you, then you got to eliminate it. So that's something you're going to have to ask him. But I do know that there's so many of those scenarios in the NFL that happen. Hey, I'm going back to Buffalo, New York. All right, great. Like, well, is it motivating? Is it distracting you? Eliminate it. Eliminate that thought process. Is it motivating you? Shoot, let's use anything we can to motivate us even more so than what we already are. So again, but I'd ask him that question. All right, thanks everybody.